evening, I'm Keisha Butts with a CTV News update. The race for the White House is still very close. Former Vice President Joe Biden has inched ahead of Donald Trump in two key states, Pennsylvania and Georgia. Biden is also ahead in Nevada and Arizona as vote counting continues. While Biden is calling for calm and patience, Trump is alleging election fraud and turning to the courts to stop vote counting where he is behind. We asked voters to weigh in on this matter.
It's all about what he wants. He thinks he's in charge like he's a businessman. You don't run the country like a business. You treat everybody equal.
In light of what we've gone through the last 4 years, it's an atrocity in terms of respect and decency. But now this current president, who will be replaced, is trying to do all these false lawsuits. I think it's time to get back to decency.
I just want it to be over. I even stopped actually watching TV because it's just too stressful for me. And I'm just waiting for someone to say, hey, this is the next president of the United States.
If Biden were to be declared winner of Pennsylvania, he'd have enough electoral votes to take him past the 270 threshold. Maryland reports more than 1,500 new COVID-19 cases today. The state has now topped the 1,000 mark for 3 consecutive days. More than 151,000 Marylanders have contracted the virus. Meantime, 11 residents have died from the disease in the last 24 hours. Governor Larry Hogan says COVID hospitalization rates have increased over the past 2 weeks.
I think what we're seeing here in Maryland, we took it more seriously than most people. I mean, there was recent polling, 89% of the people were following the advice and liked the steps that we were taking. That's better than almost any state in the country. And people were listening. And they were doing the things to keep them safe. I think what happened is people just felt, they're fatigued. They're tired of doing it. And they felt comfortable because our numbers were so good. And we were doing so well. They're like, it's not that big of a deal. But as you see, I talk to my fellow governors that are calling me, talking about patients in the hallways and increasing deaths and running out of hospital beds and not having nursing staff. It's comes real to you. And as we see our numbers start to go, we don't want to be one of those states.
More than 235,000 Americans have died from the virus. Maryland Senate President Bill Ferguson releases his plan and COVID-19 protocols for the upcoming legislative session. He spoke with members of the press this morning about temporary rule and operation changes, as well as ongoing monitoring policies.
Health and safety will be the driving factor for all decisions moving forward. It is the foundation of this plan. And so it's really important both that we address the actual level of risk and the perceived level of risk, because both are important in order to feel comfortable and effective in this environment. But what was also clear is that there are a lot of various interests in the legislative process, and there was no such thing as a perfect plan. The objective here was to reduce risk as much as possible while maintaining the quality work product. And so after meeting with each and every senator, with any group that reached out to us to talk about their opinions or had insights, we met with anyone that expressed an interest in this and tried to put together a pretty comprehensive framework that I feel very confident is the best way forward for us to be able to do our work well during the 2021 session while reducing the amount of risk that is a part of any global pandemic.
Ferguson says the third and final reading of bills will be done in person and not virtually. He mentioned that the House is much more crowded than the Senate and may have to do more things virtually to maintain safety protocols. One of the issues the General Assembly is sure to discuss in the upcoming session is the budget, now that the pandemic has transformed the state's finances. Senator Jim Rosapep gives his thoughts about how the outcome of the election could affect Maryland.
This is an important election in many ways, but one of the ways is it's clearly the case that if Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are elected and the Democrats keep control of the House and hopefully pick up the Senate as well, there will be overwhelming support in Washington for very substantial aid to keep public services going and not lay teachers off and not lay firemen off and not lay highway repair folks off. If Trump gets reelected, I don't know. So I think in the very short run, federal aid is unlikely. In the medium run, it all depends on the election results.
The 2021 session begins on Wednesday, January 13th. Maryland casino revenues are approaching 2019 levels. Total revenue last month was nearly $143 million, down less than 1% from a year ago. The state collects just under $60 million, $43.6 million of which goes to the Maryland Education Trust Fund. Total gaming revenue at MGM National Harbor was over $56 million, down 5.5% from last year. The University of Maryland plans to go online only after Thanksgiving due to the coronavirus surge. University President Darrell Pine says students who plan to go home or travel for the holiday are encouraged to stay away from campus for the rest of the semester. COVID-19 tests will be conducted campus-wide prior to Thanksgiving. Regular testing will continue after the holiday as well. Smash Mobile House, it's a new county business and it will come straight to you. Use it for fun or just to relieve some stress and anxiety. LaVon Lucas started Smash Mobile a few months ago. For the 30-year-old, the venture began as a way to deal with stress and personal tragedy.
Because of the pandemic, nobody wants to come outside. So what's better than give us a call, we'll come to you. Where you let your anger out. If you have grief in your family, divorce, breakup, have fun, bachelor parties, where you just smash it and just basically have fun for entertainment. Since the stress level is so high, this is where you actually come to where you can let your anger out and there's no repercussions. No one calls the police on you. You don't have to worry about going to no hospital, jail, anything like that. You can smash little knickknacks as glass, bottles, microwaves, TVs, refrigerators. Everyone loves it, no complaints. Hopefully soon we're working on our little storefront, so you come on through, but we're still gonna keep the mobile all the time.
For more information, you can reach out to Lucas on social media at Smash Mobile House or call 240-485-8227. The University of Maryland Capital Region Health and AmeriGroup are sponsoring free drive-through flu shots to residents. Health officials say due to the pandemic, getting the flu shot this year is more important than ever. The dates to keep in mind are tomorrow, November 7th, and next Saturday, November 14th. For tomorrow, the location is the Bowie Senior Center on Health Center Drive. For November 14th, the location is the First Baptist Church of Glen Arden on Bright Seat Road. The time for both locations goes from 10 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. Vaccines will be administered on a first-come, first-served basis. As the pandemic continues, the city of Bowie is lending a helping hand through its food aid program. The city is hosting a drive-through food distribution event tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Village Baptist Church. You don't need to register, but you must live in the city of Bowie. Staffers expect to give away food to at least 100 households.
Here in the Bowie community, we have a number of people who have lost income as a result of the pandemic due to their jobs either closing or being furloughed, and we want to make sure that we help fill that gap for Bowie residents.
The city of Bowie is also providing a rental assistance program. Registration opens November 11th. Prince George's Community College is recognizing first-generation college students. PGCC is hosting a series of virtual events next week, including a mental health workshop on Tuesday. On Thursday, the I Am First Generation event will highlight professors and students who are the first in their families to attend college. Meantime, on Sunday, National First Generation College Day, students are asked to share their stories on social media.
We encourage all to participate on Sunday, November the 8th, by showing their First Gen College Day spirit in wearing items and sharing with others in your community and your families about your honor and experience in being a first-gen college student.
For a full list of events, visit pgcc.edu. The City of College Park, along with the University of Maryland, are partnering up to give back to the community. They're hosting Good Neighbor Day, a day of service activities for students and city residents. It will include virtual workshops and in-person beautification projects.
So Good Neighbor Day really, especially this hybrid model, came from the thought that we can do this in a safe manner. Now, the reason we chose to move it from the spring into the fall is solely because of COVID. So the hybrid model just entails some very some in-person events and some virtual events. Those in-person events that are physically distanced, outdoors, with the CDC guidelines, highly enforced, with invasive species removal, with tree planting, and some beautifying of shared spaces. With our virtual events, we are going to be doing a number of things.
For more information about tomorrow's event, visit oce.umd.edu. The Washington football team takes on the New York Giants this Sunday at FedEx Field. It's an NFC East rematch. Washington lost to the Giants in New York 3 weeks ago, 20-19 on a failed two-point conversion attempt. Meantime, receiver Terry McLaurin has often been recognized by his coaches for his work ethic on and off the field. This week, his teammates recognized him as well by voting him in as team captain.
He leads by example, a very quiet leader who just goes out and does his job. But his performance most certainly does speak on the field, whether it is practice or game time. And I think that's one of the things that impresses his teammates, especially his veteran teammates, that all felt unanimously about it. So I think it was a heck of an honor. And like I said, just glad to see that he gets the kind of recognition he deserves.
When I was drafted, I knew that I had leadership qualities and capability that teams coveted. And I didn't come in here day one thinking like, hey, I'm about to be a captain. Hey, I'm about to prove this and that. I just wanted to be a guy that came in and worked hard, didn't say a whole lot, and practiced really hard, showed up on time, and did what was asked for him, and was productive on Sunday. I feel like guys have noticed that. They've actually tried to push me more and more as I've grown to become that vocal leader, and I'm trying to learn. I'm also going to try to embrace it more.
I said this to him early in the season. I said, you're a guy that can be great, but you can also be one of the best leaders on this team. You got a lot more say than you think you have. And so, he's been speaking up more. He's been saying his mind, and everyone on the team respects him. He deserves that seat on his chest more than anybody else.
I think it's really important for us to get off to a fast start coming off a bye week. The Giants are coming in on a short week, so we got to be prepared to start fast and play a 4-quarter game, minimize the mistakes. I think that's going to really be the key going down the stretch of this season, is minimizing our mistakes and capitalizing on our opportunities.
Nothing's for granted. We've got to focus in, and we got to take them one at a time in terms of the NFC East. I mean, this is a big game for us coming up with the Giants.
About 3,000 fans will be allowed to attend the game at FedEx Field on Sunday. Well, let's get a quick check on our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 47 degrees. This is the perfect weekend to get out and enjoy the warm fall weather. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, daytime highs will be in the low 70s with evening temps dropping near 50 degrees. And now for the community calendar. Join Councilwoman Jolene Ivey and members from a local nonprofit for a diaper drive. Families must register as soon as possible for your child's appropriate size prior to pickup. The drive is tomorrow, November 7th, from 10 in the morning until noon at the Cheverly United Methodist Church. Food will also be available for a limited number of families. For registration information, email cmward4@cheverly.md.gov. And that wraps up our CTV News newscast. Join us again on Monday at 4:30. Have a good night.
The coronavirus has affected the African American community in many ways, including a drastic drop in blood donations. This is the time to take care of one another, and blood transfusions from healthy African American donors can be a life-saving treatment for patients with sickle cell disease or cancer. The American Red Cross adheres to the highest standards of safety and infection control and urges you to come out to donate. Please, make an appointment today at redcrossblood.org.